Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech Simplified channel. In this session, we are discussing the security attacks in network security. So, in today's digital world, cyber threats are growing at an unprecedented rate, from personal data theft to nation state level cyber welfare. Understanding these attacks is the first step toward being a strong defense. So let's first understand the security attacks. So security attacks are the deliberate attempts to compromise three major pillars of the information security, that is a confidentiality, integrity and availability. Confidentiality involves keeping information out of unauthorized hand, while integrity ensures data remains accurate and unaltered. Availability ensures that systems and services are accessible once when needed. So, a simple example of the confidentiality attack is a hacker intercepting your login credentials over the public Wi-Fi. So this is a one type of confidentiality attack. So attackers target servers, user accounts, network infrastructure, and the cloud services using the different techniques. So to understand them better, we classify attacks into two major categories, that is a active attack and passive attack. So now let's understand the CIA triad, that is related to confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So, confidentiality ensures information is accessible only to the authorized user. For an example, a WhatsApp message are encrypted so that the third parties cannot read them. Integrity ensures information is accurate and unchanged. Uh, the example of this is a bank transfer where the amount gets changed during transmission is a violation of integrity. The next one is a availability that ensures systems and data are reachable when needed. One example of this is a website taken offline data by a DDoS attack is an availability attack. So, understanding these three principles help us to understand how attacks break them. Now, let's understand the classification of attacks. So, basically, network attacks falls into different categories. That is, active attack and passive attack. So basically, the passive attack involved monitoring or observing of data. The attacker does not modify anything, and these are the stealthy and very difficult to detect. While active attack involves modifying, disturbing, or destroying data or the services, and these attacks leave traces and are easier to detect, but far more harmful as compared to the active attack. So let's dive deeper into each type of attack. So first we discuss the active attacks. So basically, the active attack directly affect the system behavior. Data can be altered, services are disturbed, and the impact is usually the immediate. So there are different types of the active attacks that include a masquerade attack, replay, modification, man in middle attack, session hijacking, and denial of service. So let's understand each type of active attacks in detail. So, this is the classification of the active attacks. So, in this, the first is a masquerade attack. So, this is an attack where the attacker pretends to be an authorized user using stolen credentials. For example, logging into a someone's bank account with their stolen password. So, this violates the authentication and integrity. The another one is a replay attack that captured data packets are resent to repeat a valid transaction. For instance, replaying an earlier money transfer message to a bank. So this compromises the integrity. The another one is a modification attack. Here's a legitimate message is altered in transit. So like changing the transfer amount from 1,000 to 10,000. The next one is a MITM, that is man in middle attack. In this attack, the attacker secretly intercepts and alters communication between two parties. For example, a fake Wi-Fi hotspot capturing the user login credentials, and this hits the confidentiality and integrity. The next one is a session hijacking. So in this, an attacker steals a valid session ID and takes over a user's session. For example, hijacking someone's Facebook session on a public Wi-Fi. The next is a DOS, that is a denial of service. In this, a system is flooded with the traffic until legitimate users cannot access it. The next one is a DDoS, that is a distributed DOS attack. Same as DOS attack, but launched using the multiple compromised systems and botnets. The next one is a SQL injection. So malicious SQL is injected into inputs, manipulating the database queries. So using, for example, or 1 equal to 1 to bypass the login page is a classic example. The next one is a phishing attack. Here, attackers trick victims into revealing sensitive information. For example, a fake emails claiming to be from banks, asking users to verify the account. The next one is a ransomware attack. In this, malware encrypts files and demands money to unlock them. And the WannaCry attack is a well-known example of ransomware attacks. Now, very interesting. Let's discuss some recent active attacks in India. So, India has witnessed the multiple high impact active cyber attacks recently. So, let's look at a few examples. So, the first one is Operation Sindoor in 2025. In this, the type of attack is a DDoS and defacement attack, where multiple hacktivist group like NSEC, Keymonus Plus, and APT36 targeted the Indian government finance, telecom, and manufacturing sector. And at peak, India saw up to 7 DDoS attacks per hour. The second one is a 650 attacks on the criminal critical infrastructure in May 2025. So, in this, over a span of 3 days, more than 650 coordinated cyber intrusion targeted Indian critical infrastructure, highlighting the scale of modern cyber warfare. The next is a defense and army website targeted, where hackers defaced army-linked websites and launched DDoS attacks on military-associated portals. The next is a ransomware attack on Indian banks in 2024, where a tech provider serving 300 small banks was attacked, disturbing the financial services. The another one is a killsec attack in Indian healthcare sector and IT, where hospitals and IT companies faced a ransomware and phishing attack, risking the sensitive health data. The next is a data theft in the financial sector, where Max Financial reported an unauthorized access threat targeting the sensitive customer data. So these attacks show how cybercrime and cyber warfare are increasingly targeting India's digital infrastructure. Now let's discuss about the different prevention strategies for the active attack. So there are lots of the prevention strategies that we can use for active attack. like using the strong authentication and access control, use the network firewalls and intrusion prevention system, digital certificates and HTTPS that prevents the man-in-middle attack, replay attacks, and session hijacking. Security awareness training to the employees to prevent the social engineering and leads to many active attack. DDoS mitigation tools like CDN to prevent the DOS and DDoS attack. Secure session management to prevent the hijacking, MITM, and manipulation of data. Now let's discuss about the different passive attack and the characteristics of passive attack. So passive attacks focus on silently gathering information without changing data. This makes them extremely hard to detect, and the types includes the eavesdropping, traffic analysis, shoulder shuffling, packet sniffing, and the footprinting. Now let's discuss in brief the types of the passive attack. So the first one is a eavesdropping, in which the listening to the network communication without any permission, like capturing the unencrypted Wi-Fi traffic. The second is a traffic analysis, in which even if the data is encrypted, attackers study the packet patterns to infer the sensitive information. The next is a packet sniffing. It uses the tools like Wireshark to capture the internet packets. For example, capturing passwords sent over the HTTP. Shoulder surfing, that observing someone's screen or keyboard physically, like watching a person's enter their ATM or the PIN number. Footprinting or the information gathering means collecting information about a network silently, such as DNS details or the server IPs. The another one is a passive port scanning, in which the hackers monitor which ports respond to request without actively probing them. So these are the different types of passive attack. Now let's discuss some real life use cases and the recent passive attacks in India. So India has also faced multiple passive style attacks. The first one is Operation Flight Night, a major campaigns in which 8.81 GB of sensitive government data, including the defense and infrastructure information, is captured. The next is a APT 36, that is a transparent tribe, in which the attackers use the remote access trojans delivered via a malicious document to silently steal files from Indian defense system. The next one is a Make in India defense program, in which the hackers use malware tools to monitor directories and extract the classified defense data. The next one is a cross-border hacktivist episode campaigns, in which the multiple groups combined the hacktivism with the data gathering to target the judicial, transport, and defense system. So these attacks highlight the rising threats of cyber crime in India. Now let's discuss some prevention strategies for the passive attack. So, to defend the passive attacks, you can use end-to-end encryptions and VPNs, secure Wi-Fi with WPA3, disable WPS, change default passwords, use secure protocols like SSH, SFTP, and HTTPS. Regularly review the logs for unusual access, encrypt emails and files using the PGP or S-MIME, monitor networks using the intrusion detection system. So understanding both active and passive attacks is essential in today's digital era. While active attacks cause visible damage, passive attacks silently gather intelligence, often leading to a bigger breaches later. So, by applying strong security practices, continuous monitoring, and user awareness, Organizations can significantly reduce the risk of cyber threats. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, and keep your network secure.